And without further delay, let's jump into it. Thanks once again for tuning in. Here is a Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starladder I-League Chinese qualifier, and specifically we're in the playoff lower bracket right now. So both teams are going to be fighting in this best of three for elimination, essentially. One team will be moving on. Essentially, they are 3 matches away from the potential to qualify for the Starladder LAN, and the other team will be going home today. So, rough road ahead, but only one can triumph, and this is going to be a hell of a match, too. These two teams, are, in my mind, are fairly evenly matched, and they're going to be putting on quite a show. So we're going to be bringing you guys FTD Club B, the strongest, in my mind, of the 3 FTD teams, versus CDEC Youth. And let's jump right into it. Thanks once again for tuning in, guys. I myself am Blaze, and I'm joined by none other than Hades. How's it going, man?
It's all good, dude, and I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to this match. I watched CDEC Youth play yesterday, and I was really impressed. So, I mean, I'm just going to take your word for FTD Club B because I haven't watched FTD Club B play before. But still, I mean, I think this should be a pretty even game. We may even see all 3 games going to be played out. Oh, these picks so far, dude. I mean, Bane and Tusk, always good combo to watch. FTD Club B. They go up the Slaughter Gyrocopter, so both teams sort of showing out their cards a bit into the draft. It's really very aggressive, and I'm really looking forward to this already.
Definitely, and I kind of feel like the Bane is a good denial pick too, because FTD Club B like to get involved early with more dynamic support, so heroes that roam around. They prioritize heroes like Bane, so CDEC Youth not only getting a good hero for their laning, but also making sure that FTD Club have to kind of pick outside their comfort. By banning Night Stalker and first picking Bane, you take out 2 key heroes that can set up fights early on in the game. So that's going to be making it more difficult for FTD Club to get out of their lanes unscathed. And of course the Tusk is a great initiator too. Hard to commit onto the Gyrocopter, but as long as you have that Dazzle band out, you don't have to worry about the Heal Bomb and the Gyrocopter return. You just have to prioritize the hero doing the most damage. So I think overall they have a smart opener here. CDEC Youth, however, are facing a negative armor strat. You've got Meld, most likely a Desolator, and the amp damage, all enhancing the Gyrocopter's flat cannon as well. And it's just going to be more and more difficult for CDEC Youth to sustain through all of that. In fact, probably having to bulk up on some heavy defensive items, definitely an early mech.
Definitely, and I mean at the same time, FTD Club B, just from these 3 heroes alone, just from the Slaughter and the Templar Assassin, it opens up Roshan very easily to the Radiant side. So I might foresee that most of the aggression or map movement should revolve around the mid lane and the bottom tier 1 towers, around that area. Mostly that's where the fights should be. But CDEC Youth, I mean, they always have great pickup potential. You always have the Bane, you have the setup as well, and the Fiend's Grip in case of BKB targets like Gyrocopter, who in this case may not go for a BKB. It's probably just going to be a Sanjin Yasha straight up on him again. And I like this Undying pick. It's going to mess things up and make things a bit tricky, especially during the team fights. And quite surprising, actually. I mean, Undying into a Gyro?
Yeah, it's not the ideal hero, because of course the flat cannon will not only kill zombies off with every barrage, but allow Gyrocopter to just go single target focus on the tombstone. So I think it definitely has its risks, but at the same time, if they're able to garner momentum in the laning phase, then with these 3 heroes and get good pushing cores for their last 2, then I feel like CDEC Youth just have so much potential to snowball this game down before Gyrocopter gets any major damage item. He's going to be just trying to survive. He'll get Drums BKB, but as far as actually putting out damage in the fights, it's going to be taking a long time. And now you can even go for something like maybe a support Undying's Crimson Guard. If you go for the mech and Guardian Greaves on the Tusk, you go for the Crimson Guard on the Undying, and you have all that bonus armor, you've got all the block effect to mitigate the potential damage output from FTD, and you can just really deathball from there. So I feel like CDEC Youth have kind of put their cards on the table now, saying this is an all-out early game bonanza, and we'll just see what cores they use to accompany it.
I mean, but at the same time, FTD, I mean, their level 1 is decently strong. Just having the Slaughter for stun, you've got your Gyro Rocket Barrage. And PL's gonna be picked up on the Phantom Lancer. I'm not sure how this really synergizes, and this shouldn't be an aggressive try, even though it looks like it could be. And I think FTD Club will be looking to ban out another mid laner, seeing as CDEC have yet to pick up a pause too.
Yeah, so right now they've got strong dual lanes. They've got most likely Tusk Undying off lane. We've seen other things like Bane Tusk a little bit. But either way, you'll probably see the Bane support the Phantom Lancer and make sure that he gets off the ground effectively. PL 1v1 against Slardar will be okay, and then whenever the Bane gets involved, when he's not juggling or roaming, then he'll be able to put out the pressure out too. as long as they sync up their spells pretty well. But like you said, another mid ban is on the table here. We've already seen the key ones taken out, of course, the Shadow Fiend, the Queen of Pain, but now seeing Viper, Lina, really just thinning the pool out here for CDEC.Y.
Yeah, they're running out of options at the same time. So CDEC probably gonna ban out like one more support, probably a range support like I think the Skyrife Mage. It actually goes very well with the Slaughter and Gyrocopter, just for the concussive shot alone, and the Ancient Seal of course, which can be a great counter to the Phantom Lancer. But no, they'll take out their Disruptor. So CDEC, I mean, current +2 heroes which are still in the pool. I mean, PL mid is not unheard of, but unlikely. Even though that could go pretty well with the Bane mid against the Templar Assassin. CDEC, it should be either like a Puck. I doubt it's the Leshrac. Who else is in the pool? We have an Invoker, but we haven't seen many Invoker many Invoker players in the Chinese scene.
Yeah, not as much. I mean, we used to see it as a very common pick when he was considered overpowered with the Wex build, but since he's kind of had a small resurgence, we still haven't really seen too much other than like 1 or 2 players consistently picking him up. So in this case, CDEC.Y kind of backs against the wall, have to not... maybe just draft for whatever their mid laner is comfortable with. I mean, at this point, you can't. You know you have momentum. You know you're gonna have some good carry follow through, but you really just need to overall get somebody who can win the lane against the TA. And if you have to go Venomancer mid for that, then so be it. The Wind Ranger's still in the pool. That's probably the most consistent pick, but I'm not sure if it's the one they want to go with. I think I would favor the Wind Ranger here because the Wind Run is so strong, but at the same time, it really comes down to comfort.
Remaining.
That's true. And oh, Bounty! I like this. This is really good. I mean, FTD really going out all out. The laning looks very strong, and if you get a couple of pick-off kills here and there, the Spirit Breaker and the Bounty Hunter, it's gonna lead to a very hard game for CDEC.Y. Oh wow! I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, no, I mean that's never one you can really plan for, but at the same time, it should be something that CDEC should be able to take a significant advantage and just. Wow, that's a hell of a hero. This guy can really redefine how the team fights play out, and Inflame is going to be taking him to the mid lane, which I think is actually preferable to the off lane. Like, if you get some assistance for the Batrider, like a Lich or an Earthshaker pulling back the waves, then Batrider can do okay in the off lane, but I feel like because of his weakness in jungling, you're looking for more out of him in kind of a harder core position. We're even going to see him get an early ward out here. Icy is going to be going for the early TP mid, and most likely going to be warding up here on the high ground. I think Secret is the first team that I saw do this, but it's going to give some good momentum for the Batrider. I mean, he's going to know exactly if like the Bounty Hunter grabs a rune then goes invis, then that's going to be something that they might be able to know about. But actually, they didn't ward the rune. Because they didn't ward to the north there, they get a little bit more vision into the mid lane, but they are going to be losing rune vision, which I feel is a bit more important.
At the same time, I guess it's pretty okay. It's a good thing to have a Batrider, so at least if you have any comeback stacks for the Gyrocopter in the jungle, Batrider can just always go in, take it up, and flash from the jungle to steal all the stacks. So that should accelerate his farm for the Blink Dagger if he does get the opportunity to do so. And I mean, I just had to point. I just realized that the Spirit Breaker started with no items. Oh wait, okay, there you go. He finally buys some consumables.
Yeah, just getting out there early on. He'll get what he needs. But this is going to be James on the support. Spirit Breaker actually switches up his items at the last second there after the pause. So yeah, it doesn't go for the double regen. Instead, gets a little bit of clarity action, which means you can expect a lot of charges. And of course, the build suggests that. But just knowing James and the way he plays, this guy is as gank intensive as it gets. So. Yeah, we're going to be seeing Spirit Breaker and Bounty Hunter as the dual supports. None of them are going to be committing to a single lane. They're always going to be roaming. They're always going to be trying to wreak havoc and trying to get kill momentum across the map. They don't really have a lane to call home, but man, are they just going to try to dominate the entire map?
Right, and actually the Bounty Hunter, he did provide information and the supports that were hiding in the jungle. So yeah, they just TA rotates to the bottom of the river, will get herself a Bounty rune. So both mid laners getting one each apiece. That's a decent start. Let's see, Tangos and Boots.
Yeah, you'll note that both mids going for Boots of Speed here, the TA and the Batrider, know this matchup pretty well. They realize that it all comes down to if the Firefly can get in range of the TA. Obviously, the Napalm stack is a big deal, and later on she'll want a magic stick. But first and foremost, she really just needs to make sure she keeps her distance from Inflame, and the boots will essentially negate the effectiveness of Batrider's early boots pickup. But still is going to napalm her ass. She's only going to get a few last hits, and in fact, with so much decay already against her, she can't go back to the lane. She'll get maybe one more CS over the next wave or two, but still overall just not a good start for her, and that's just the expectation coming out. Now I can see the Orb of Venom slow. Demon's almost getting caught out by a crush, but he'll be okay, and of course he is one of the tankiest supports to try to deal with that aggression.
At the same time, I mean, June using that new shards, the trick with pushing the creeps onto the in the trees, that's a pretty good start to get the creep equilibrium in his favor. He's got the Gyrocopter actually stuck, and oh wow, he's actually about to have below half HP. I think he'll be forced to salve up.
Yeah, I mean, a couple tangos won't hurt either. At this point, he's not worried about any real burst damage coming in from the Tusk right now. It's only level 1 Tusk, level 1 Ice Shard, so yeah, he can just do a couple tangos and it should be fine, as long as he's not tanking up the creep wave as well. We're actually going to see Demon still trying to kind of do this little duet with Hitage. They're dancing back and forth. The Bounty Hunter trying to disrupt the pulling action, but in the end, he's afraid of that dust. I mean, you get caught out by a Nightmare and a dust, you're in some real trouble. Luckily, he knows now that the Brain Sap is online for Bane, and that those disables really aren't going to be there.
So Hitage probably is going to look to move to the mid lane, force the supports to just make all these unnecessary rotations, and that will actually open up the map a bit for Ran. Yeah. And yeah, the two supports to go contest the rune. Hitagi's probably going to snipe it. Yeah.
Oh, they dusted immediately, but he's already got some distance, and again, they don't have any disable. They have no slowing effects at all, so Doggy can just keep running. He considers the neutral deny, but doesn't need it. The only thing he really needs to do is break his invis while that dust is active, but now that it's dispelled, he can turn right back around, and they might be able to 2v1 Icy. Look at his positioning right now. Hitagi could absolutely go right on him, but at the same time, Inflame looking for the napalm play, and Icy's just tanky enough that he'll be okay to back himself off, but still trying to get control over this mid lane. They're going to look for the Orb of Venom slow Inflame under tower here, doing a lot of damage. It might be your first blood as he breaks through the refraction. The 5 napalm stacks do their work, and even the Bounty Hunter falls underneath the flames. He just tries to get a couple slows to try to punish the Batrider under tower, but no, he ends up dying as well. It's a 2-for-1, it's a first blood, and that is a great start for Inflame.
Yep, he definitely has a very comfortable lead. He's actually almost twice the net worth of the TA. That's how much he got from this lane.
Wow. Jeez, that, I mean, obviously, like we said, she didn't get any CS. She has one last hit to her name. That's just going to happen with this matchup, especially when they have the dual lane. Undying at level 1, just focusing on suppressing the Templar Assassin. Because Batrider level 1 doesn't really do much to TA. His Napalm adds an extra instance of damage to each auto attack, so he takes 2 refraction charges instead of 1, but otherwise, he's not that threatening. When he gets level 2 and he has the Firefly, that's when he really starts making TA just stay on her toes and stay back as far as possible. So Icy helps out until Batrider gets 2, and then at that point, the TA already missing out so much, but this time getting punished so heavily. She was confident the Bounty Hunter could contribute, but without Janata slow, the Batrider just got to run them over.
Yeah, and this is one of the perks of playing the Batrider against the TA, because TA's, attack range is not that far. It's actually really, really short, even if this is level 1 Sideblades.
Yeah, she's actually maxing refraction here, which I'm not sure is going to be all that valuable. There's a lot of ways they can take that refraction off very quickly, whether it's the PL's illusions, or obviously what we've seen with the Batrider. So I would say maybe going for a build that it prioritizes another point in meld, or even Sideblades to make up for the range deficit you're talking about. Oh, Sentry Ward versus Sentry Ward, who gets the Tango out. There's no Tango on Inflame, so instead he's going to be run down. The charge through as well, but they don't want to commit under tower against that Batrider. He's already been fed too much, and they can't afford to feed him anymore.
Not to mention they have the Tombstone, so they really can't. You really just can't overextend an Inflame. Oh, and they know Hitagi's there. Do they have a dust?
No,
they
do on
don't. Oh wait, Bane's
Demons,
coming in.
but he's just too far away.
Oh, he actually gets a ward down.
Oh no, they waste it. So yeah, he gets his ward out, they waste the dust, and he'll just go right back to harassing the mid lane. Meanwhile, James catches out June, but with that haste June, there's not much you can do to the Tusk, even with the Gyrocopter nearby.
Oh, and I have to point out that Slaughter has been he's doing very well on last hits. He's already level 5. It's 18 and 3. That's really big. Hitachi was looking for the courier snap, just couldn't get it.
Still looking for it. They're hesitating with it. They'll look to micromanage it and even go for the manual bottle crow, it looks like, just to make sure the bounty hunter can't get to it. Oh, well, of course it's not refilled yet, so it'll have to make its way back around. For now, Hitagi's kind of free to roam around the mid because there is no sentry ward, but can he really do enough in this situation where he's only level 2? The Soul Rip isn't online yet for Undying, but that'll be coming up soon, and at that point, I feel like most of their kill potential is lost, and Bounty Hunter just needs to focus on levels.
If anything, his best bet of getting a kill would probably be the bottom lane on June. They've actually neglected him because they have so much faith in the Gyro, who's able to zone him out. Stacks in the jungle, just one double. Haven't had time. Actually, that's an ancient stack, and this observer is going to scout it out. So maybe CDEC can look to steal the ancient stacks with the Undying Tombstone later on.
Sure. I mean, Calldown's kind of hard to fight into, but overall the Bat Rider gets just one pick and he can set that up nicely. So I think that's a decent probability. But I mean, TA is like focusing on her jungle right now, just farming mud golems because she can't afford to do much else. June could come in here. Would have to mango for the ice shard, so they can't really isolate her in time for Inflame to get there and lasso. So it's going to be just Hitagi roaming around. You said that his best opportunity was on June, and it looks like he's got him in his sights now.
Oh, this is good timing as well. June does not have any mana. He may be forced to use the mango. He's just going to pick up the rune and that's it. Yeah. Maxing out the refractions, I think, yeah, TA is probably just going to hit to it, getting the levels. That's what she's more concentrating going for. Definitely not going to get anything out of this lane at all. Inflame is just getting more and more massive, but Gyrocopter at the same time is getting big as well with 44 last hits.
Yeah, pretty strong. Probably just a basic build up here. Early Ring of Aquila, Wand, Drums, Sanjin Yasha, the just overall stat build is what you're going to be looking at from him. He wants to just be able to fight effectively early on, and so just kind of those cheap items will get him there pretty quickly. At the same time, you can mention the Slaughter has been able to contest the lane a little bit here against Ame since the Bane did roam around a little, and sometimes he got that 1v1 face time he was looking for. You look at the TA's traps, I actually love this. All these defensive traps coming in against the Bat Rider, so if he ever tries to dive the tower again, right on the threshold there where the tower hits the range, that's where the slows are going to come into play. Oh, Sentry Ward does not see the Bounty Hunter just yet. Sees some traps, but they're not trying to break them yet. The creeps should start attacking traps, though, and yeah, he's just going to lasso it Hitagi under the Sentry Ward. Beautiful pick up there, and the Spearbreaker has to cancel his charge. They've committed 4 heroes with that smoke, and TA should be run down as well. Gyrocopter trying to bring in the call down. Does get nightmared a little bit, but in the end, he gets woken up by the zombies, and he goes ahead and just breaks that tombstone down. So, despite the big commitment from both sides, we're actually only going to be seeing 1 kill just on a level 2 bounty hunter. And it could have been more, I think, but that interaction between Bane and Undying is actually very counter-synergetic. The fact that as soon as you nightmare somebody, the zombie immediately wakes them up 1 second later.
Same goes for the Firefly as well, but then again, you're just probably banking on that tiny millisecond of a window of opportunity. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But then again, you know, is the Gyro who was forced to rotate, so that takes a bit of aggression away from the bottom lane, and June's gonna get his level 6 soon. Just a creep wave and a half. Oh, and Hitagi, yeah, he was just really unfortunate. He was actually standing right on the very line of the Sentry Ward range, otherwise he would have been fine.
Oh, we could see up top here, Ame taking some damage here. He will be crushed under Amp, gonna doppelganger that off, and Ranzer's gonna try to run him down in 3 seconds time. He will be able to get that crush off. Nice lance attempt, but Ame can't get the distance. He didn't have his bottle in time, so he will just be going down Slaughter. A much needed kill, gaining some momentum for FTD.
And then at the same time, CDEC, if they do get the D ward, so FTD.B won't have any vision in the enemy jungle. That ward's long gone.
And Bat Rider's progression towards that Blink Dagger is actually really fast. Like, as well as Slaughter is doing now that he got that kill and last hitting, it's still going to be a much faster Blink Dagger coming out of the Bat. And I believe CDEC.Y have only used 1 smoke. Oh, okay, they do... Okay, they have used 2. So that's not ideal, because obviously when you get the Blink, you want to unveil it with a smoke. But even still, they're going to have some means of finding those pickoffs, finding those openings.
True that, and meanwhile Hitagi just getting a bit doing a bit of reconnaissance in the enemy jungle.
Gyrocopter just barely slipping right by the Bane. That broke the smoke, which pretty much makes this completely irrelevant. Like, there's no way CDEC even touch their jungle at this point. But Gyrocopter at the same time will be able to get a double stack and a hard camp at the same time. Some efficiency for him, but not really like the massive quad stack value they were looking to snipe.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So I guess they take what they can, and this is going to be really suspicious for CDEC.Y as, you know, both sides just trading and taking over each other's jungle.
Yeah, triple stack on the hard camp, stolen by Inflame. So I would actually say that CDEC.Y again get the better trade. The Batrider is equal net worth to the Gyrocopter as a result of that movement, and that's huge for a Batrider.
He can pick up his blink right now if he wanted to.
I think he's trying to hide that fact though. He wants to clear out this creep wave, grab the blink from the shop, and then get out quickly so that he can actually surprise the enemy with it, rather than revealing how farmed he really is.
Yeah, that's true. I think FTD are keeping very close tabs, but they should know that Inflame, you know, since he's had an awesome laning phase, he should have his. Yeah, they should guess that he has a blink. Oh no, someone's TPing to the bottom now. Yeah,
and they didn't get vision on him, so they do not know about this blink dagger, and that could be what sets up a kill opportunity. They're gonna smoke it up. Like I said, that's really what you want to do. As soon as you get the blink online for the Batrider, you always go for a smoke. I would say 90% of the time pro players will do this, and it should be setting up a kill here on mid. She might be able to meld, but doesn't react in time, and that is going to be... Oh, the Gyrocopter getting caught inside the Ice Shards too! Getting in the Fiend's Grip, call down or not, they killed off the TA and maybe can get the Gyro, but Demons goes down a little bit too quickly. Ame now coming in, going to get the Lance on Hitagi, and jumping from Inflame, just doing some more napalm. Hitagi will be going down very shortly as he is dusted, and now it's going to be on the Slardar to help them disengage. Only gets the crush on Inflame. Now the Snowball goes forward with that on cooldown, and there might be no hope for him as he gets thrown up in the air and finished off. Oh man, a great fight once again for CDEC.Y, and they'll just go ahead and walk away with that. Blink Dagger on Veil, taking 3 kills, and getting more farm on the Phantom Lancer.
A very nice 1,000 gold swing as well. That was just making full use of the element of surprise on the Batrider. Very good rotation, like you called. FTD.B probably could have executed that fight a bit better. Probably could have gotten a return kill on the Bane as well. They did well to take a Tombstone, but Spirit Breaker is just straight out useless because right now, FTD.B, that drop is supposed to be an offensive, but at this point in time, I mean, they're on the back foot, and you know, a Spirit Breaker doesn't really do well defending the high ground. And Bounty Hunter as well.
Nope. Not at all. They really have to be kind of fighting in the trenches. They have to get involved early, and so far we haven't seen that. Just a level deficit. Another smoke is going to be coming out here. A lot of smokes used early. The Dire are actually exhausted of smokes for 3 minutes. The Radiant have 1 left in reserve, but they're going to try to lead with the Bounty Hunter. When they see the smoke break, they'll know that the real Phantom Lancer is here, and they'll try to go on him. There's going to be a lasso on mid, but we'll watch Ame getting focused. Doppelganger is not going to be coming out of time, but mid, there's going to be the Templar Assassin now, snowballed upon and finished off. Lasso sets it up, and the Tusk follows through.
This is just one of those really, really hard games. Now with a 2,000 disadvantage from the TA to the Batrider. On the bright side, I mean, Gyro, thanks to the kill, can hit a high priority target. He actually gets a lot out of it. But the gold recap, I mean, currently the gold advantage is in favor of CDEC. It was in favor of FTD.B, not anymore.
Yeah, it was actually back and forth this game a lot. Like, we've just had zigzag all over the place, but I think CDEC.Y will be holding this lead for at least some time. Until the track comes online, I think that this gold is firmly in CDEC's hands.
Befinitely. And they actually almost caught Hitagi, the smoke, I mean, yeah, the dust. Sorry, it was just barely out of range. Hitagi was really lucky. He's really playing very dangerous behind enemy lines most of the time.
So, Inflame trying to make his moves across the map. It's nighttime, so while his vision is very significantly stifled, it also means that he could just kind of bump into somebody and get that blink damage in before they're able to kind of slip away. In the meantime, though, Spirit Breaker is level 6. That is a key timing for him. And as soon as they get the Bounty Hunter in 6, they're going to be in a position to at least look for opportunities and start to build momentum back on their side. The Slardar Blink Dagger is going to be only 150 gold away as well. And while we've been talking about the underlevel Bounty Hunter, you'll also have to note the Undying hasn't been doing too hot himself. Icy's been very sacrificial in his movements. He's been setting up his cores for success, but at the cost of his own progression.
True that. Yeah, CDEC.Y, they really want to take away the options of, you know, FTD.B sneaking a Roche, so this is why they're emphasizing a lot on this mid T1 in the bottom lane. Now Pia's going to get himself a nice tower, probably going to build into the drums. He has the Bracer, so he's going to fight very, very easily right now. Next item should be the travels. It's something which we commonly see. Oh, Hitagi gets caught by the dust. And if the Fiend's Grip, Icy's just gonna get a freebie here. Yep, just banks him down. So the zombie gets a kill. Nice 215, and from this you can tell that, you know, Undying is just considerably very far ahead of the Bounty Hunter. The supports for FTD.B are just quite far behind.
Yeah. It just, like, there was a great opportunity there for Inflame, but or actually to kill off Inflame. They go in for the charge and look for the Blink Crush right at the same time, but the Observer Ward that just has a few seconds left here on mid is enough to make that a failed rotation, and now it's actually going to be the TA that gets caught out. So it's unlucky more than anything else that FTD.B aren't making their gank plays connect, and the TA again going down. Just so many instances of damage coming in from this Bat Rider with that Flame Break on top. That's right now 4 seconds of extra dot ticks on top of the Firefly that she's been dancing in. So it just, the TA cannot survive against this onslaught, not until she has a BKB, and obviously you want at least one other item before that. So it's just a really difficult game for FTD.B right now, and they aren't finding the connection of their kills to kind of dig their way out of it.
Inflame has definitely been very, very active with this Blink Dagger as well. Every time the Firefly's been off cooldown, he's pretty much just been everywhere. I mean, he is 4 and 4, involved in 8 out of the 9 kills which his team has had. I think he's actually going to be a huge problem, but after the 30-minute mark, not so much, because FTD.B, I think that's where the Gyrocopter should be more farmed. He's closer and getting closer and closer to that Sanchin Yasha. Already has the drums with the casual Yasha.
Yeah, I mean, SMY seems to be the obvious thing for him, but whether that'll be enough, I'm not so sure. I mean, the movement speed will be nice. Obviously, popping drums when the Tombstone goes down will allow him to annihilate that part of the CDEC team fight, but right now, it just seems like CDEC are still in pickoff stage. You'll see all tier 1s other than the bottom still standing fine, but it just comes down to the fact that the kill score is 9-4 because Inflame is just finding all these gank opportunities and now finding a new means of accumulating it with the Force Staff and with this Invis Rune.
Probably look to the top. Should be. I mean, you see this. Yeah, PL's pushing in this lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh,
so
lucky. It just really comes down to game sense and smarts, but also luck. The fact is, Rand did the best thing he could there by blinking back, but it nearly dies to the zombie as he tries to sprint away. The Gyrocopter will look to turn around, Doppelganger away, and it looks like actually nobody's going to be dying as a result of
Radiant
this.
structures are fortified.
On the bright side, I mean, Gyro gets a Tombstone out of it. It's such a pity that Inflame, he didn't get the kill. I think there's a bit of miscommunication between he and Ame. PL is just kind of AFK there for like a good 1.5 seconds, not choosing to attack the Slaughter. Otherwise, the Slaughter would have died. Especially since, you know, he popped the sprint, so he would have taken extra damage. Oh well. Just wasted opportunity. And
Yeah.
strangely, I mean, I thought FTD would have lost a lot more. They could have chosen to kind of initiate after taking Tombstone.
Yeah, I mean, the tower does go down pretty quickly. I think they're just kind of spooked right now. They're in such a bad way. The Templar Assassin is really a non-hero right now. She's going Blink Dagger just to maybe get in a couple of quick hits. But overall, like, there's so many ways that they control her, that they kill her off, and now a Tusk mechanism comes out to negate some of her damage. So I really feel like FTD.B just don't feel confident in their ability to do anything other than ward off CDEC. Like, whenever they drop call down, CDEC do pull back, and they know that that's going to continue to be the case. But as far as actually taking a fight, taking offensive movement without smoking, I don't feel like FTD.B are capable, or at least they don't think they're capable.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, look, so right now CDEC.Y gonna take the mid T1. And actually, oh, Slaughter tries to crush the Fiend's Grip and the Lasso. That's a lot of hits. Gonna pull him right out of the cooldown. None of the heroes in CDEC.Y will take any damage from that. The shards, oh, and the snowball, they go into WY. This is horrible. Everyone's all over the place. Hitagi actually gets caught, put to sleep, and broken up immediately from the Firefly. Hitagi is gonna fall down here. The dust is there. So next target will be the TA. Like you said, there's a non-hero. It's gonna be 0-4, and now it's gonna be 0-5. And this is definitely TA.
So brutal.
Radiant's
And
middle tower
yeah,
is
the
under
track
attack.
means nothing. Like, they
Radiant
get the track
structures
online,
are
they
fortified.
start throwing it out, but in the end they don't get a single kill with it, thanks to June's mechanism, and of course just
Radiant's
how
middle tower
poorly
is
that
falling.
fight went for FTD.B. I mean, the Slaughter didn't get anybody in the crush, and then immediately 2 ultimates go out. Yeah, it's stacked, yeah, it's overkill, but As long as they get the control against him to make
Radiant's
sure they
middle
can
tower
punish
is
his
under attack.
misplay, they can keep it rolling. And now they've got a gem. Put the gem on the Bat Rider, and you have complete map dominance. Wards, Invis Heroes, none of it matters. Inflame will be just so big. All they have to do is just throw all their heals on him. Make sure the mech's in range, make sure the Soul Rip's in range, and the Bat Rider can just dominate this game. Even more so
Now
than
they'll go
before.
for a 3-man smoke. Yeah, Ren, WY, and Hitagi are going for a 3-man smoke. For now, this gem in the Bat Rider, Hitagi is just going to be a non-factor, as if, it wasn't enough for this overkill. Now he can't even go into the enemy jungle to do any more reconnaissance. He can't provide any more intel. So this is one of the downsides of having a bounty hunter and a spirit breaker combo on your team when when your mid lane isn't doing that well. It definitely feels like FTD.B, they didn't foresee the Bat Rider pick.
Radiant's bottom tower
Sure.
is
I mean,
under
it's
attack.
a hard one to really take into consideration because it's just so uncommon in the current metagame. But at the same time, he creates a lot of value. I mentioned Venomancer for the matchup in TA. Well, the Bat Rider does a lot of the stuff that Venomancer can do against TA, and so much more, because his item timing just allows him to surge forward in terms of aggression and create new opportunities. It makes it so that it's impossible for FTD to really take a fight. And now we're going to see the smoke play go out against FTD.B. Their smoke failed, and now it's going to be that gem movement. Oh, Ran. Sprinting is actually the wrong spell there, and he's going to go down fast.
Alright, Inflame does double damage. TA is trying to man-fight in the Firefly, but
Oh
he's just going to
my
melt the
gosh.
PA. Undying to get the Spirit Breaker as well as overkill to massacre everywhere. They're going to look for a couple more kills, looking for Hitagi. They kind of know he's there. Demons following him in the general direction, but it looks like they will just give up. Inflame or the gem. I think they can find him. Yes, they do
found
find
him.
Hitagi.
They got him. Oh man,
dead.
that's just salt in the wounds right now. It's 16-4. You saw how quickly their heroes die. As obviously the Solar splinted and the TA had 1,000 illusions on her, but
Radiant's
at the
bottom
same
tower
time they
is
just go
under
down so
attack.
quickly, and it feels like they don't have a hope or a prayer. I mean, you can maybe hope for a Miracle Crush, the call down on top, but I like the idea behind their supports, but in practice,
Radiant's
their
bottom tower
matchups were
has
too
fallen.
skewed against them. The fact is, the PL does automatically trump the Slardar with any help at all. The Bat Rider trumps the TA without help, and then the offlane was fine too. The Tusk did fine against the Gyrocopter. So just all in all, CDEC.Y by default winning 2 out of 3 lanes, but with the Bat Riders moving on top and some good support activity, they're just steamrolling at this point.
I have to admit, this bounty, this Bat Rider pick, it really threw FTD.B completely off. Because if it was any other hero mid, say like a Strak or something, TA would have had a better matchup, and the bounty hunter would definitely be able to have much larger impact in the game. But right now, I mean, FTD.B, their lineup is not good fighting at all from behind. So now CDEC.Y going to secure themselves a nice Roshan. FTD.B, whether they know it or not, they can't contest this Roshan at all.
Now we're going to be seeing the Medallion take its toll. Roshan going to be going down. Actually just neutralizes the armor buff he's gotten over the past 22 minutes, but yeah, Roshan will fall. Aegis going to the Phantom Lancer, and they're just going to pretty much walk it in at this point. They can definitely take the tier 2 towers. The only 2 remain on the map. Bat Rider, though, might have to be a little careful. If they actually found a pounce, if they jumped him, they killed him, they took his gem, that would actually be a nice swing forward for FTD, and not like a game-winning one, but considering he's 3rd in net worth in the game, 2nd on his team, it would have been probably the best thing FTD could hope for.
Invisibility.
And I'm just looking at like the Spirit Breaker and the, till now we haven't really seen another strike coming out. He's going for a Blade Mail, hoping to try and reflect a bit more damage. The game is just hard.
Yeah, when you can't get an ultimate like Nether Strike out and involved, like I feel like there's a huge problem with how you're playing the game. And yeah, it just one thing I would feel like at playstyles, like I think James might have been better roaming around on the Bounty Hunter because he's the one that starts it, and Hitagi's usually the one that finishes it. But with Bounty Hunter, it's the other way around. The Bounty Hunter follows, sets things up with vision, and then the Spear Breaker just goes on that. So I feel like they just didn't mesh the way they wanted to in this early game, and that Undying and that Bat Rider obviously created some issues for them that they couldn't recover from.
So what's the next item up in IC? I mean, this Undying, he has 1,800 gold in his pockets. It's not a mech, it could be a Crimson Guard. Let's see. items.
I mean, Ghost Scepter wouldn't be too bad. Just get in the fight and not have to worry about all the physical damage. But the magic, there's enough magic damage from Gyrocopter that you might not see that. Just anything with raw HP, even Aghanim Scepter could be a consideration. So just something that allows him to get up on the front line and make use of that Flesh Golem.
And I mean, you know, the Glimmer-K
Yeah.
or Force Staff would be good in IC as well, just because they can kite out all these spells from FTD.B. And FTD.B really doesn't have that control besides the Slaughter Crush.
Is that like their last ward? Like, I feel like there's been so much dewarding going on. Yeah, out of stock on Observer wards, none in inventory, none on courier. That is the last Observer ward for FTD.B. They are completely blind now. And, Inflame really just the sight blinder. Oh, going in under 5 heroes! He just jumps right in, no problem at all. Brings in the TA, but now TA gets her vengeance. She gets the Melt Strike, she gets the kill. Well, it's going to be Ame on to the Gyrocopter. Needs one more Diffusal Charge to bring him down. No, it's going to be the Snowball and the Soul Rip to make it happen. Rand will blink away. Icy getting a second kill there on the Spirit Breaker on the back lines. But yeah, it's still Ame under tower with the Aegis. He's going to be crushed down. So I actually are able to get a lot of critical kills out of this. But in the end, CDEC are still holding. They only lost the 2 heroes, and one of them had an Aegis. They recover their gem, I believe. Yep. And at that point,
It's on the Bane.
they're just even the best things for FTD.B turn out to be not that significant.
Oh, that was really, really true. It was either really smart or really stupid from the Batrider just diving in like that and forcing the fight.
I would say that it's a little overzealous, a little overconfident, considering all that they've gone through, all that they've accomplished this game. Inflame feels really just like a hot shot, and he kind of played like it here too, just a little too recklessly. I mean, that was literally 4 heroes within melee range of him, and he's like, yeah, I could just grab somebody out of that. But Undying will actually go for the Vladimir's Offering, so not a raw HP item, but still, of course, very helpful for his team, since almost all the scalable damage from FTD is physical. The call down is going to cap out here in just 2 levels. Oh, bye Hidagi. And yeah, at that point, almost everything that you're worried about as the game goes on is going to be physical. So that armor aura is going to be really nice, even though the lifesteal isn't really that much of a factor here. There was one thing. Oh, Blade Mill and Spirit Breaker, I found that interesting. The Desolator up for the TA, now that she got that, like 900 gold from Batrider. But overall, still, I would say kind of the same game we were just looking at. In fact, Gyrocopter just dead up top. Gets caught out there, thinks he can farm against the PL, and suddenly a wild Batrider shows up.
And a BKB almost up as well. Actually, no, it gets it right now. Definitely way too far forward in the map, and everyone from CDEC Youth is not on the map, so yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about. And now CDEC Youth gonna look to take this T2. Well, James wants to farm the bottom lane, hopes to complete his blade mail by then. Yeah. Oh, I mean, FTD.B, they may not have the best high ground defense, but just because they have the Gyrocopter and Slaughter, I think they still can defend. It's not out of the question yet, it's just really hard, that's all.
12,000 net worth, over 10k experience, favoring CDEC Youth. All towers but one still standing. And just waiting for the next Roshan, presumably. But for now, Inflame finds another Invisor and Invis Haste all day long. Hasn't actually gotten too much haste this game, but it's the 2 runes that make Batrider just so powerful. And they'll go ahead and Fiend's Grip him just to make it a clean kill. Meantime, June is going to be focused. He actually gets hit by a couple of major burst spells, but instead turns it around with the Snowball, but only onto a neutral creep. So we're going to see just the death of the Spirit Breaker as CDEC Youth take full map control. And again, the Gyrocopter will go to the exact same place he died, but I feel like he has to do this kind of a play. When you're blind on the map, and you just need to get them away from pushing and draw the game out, you have to kind of overextend yourself in this kind of manner.
Definitely, and what? I mean, Gyro, what items do you go for next? I mean, the BKB, I actually feel that a Lincoln Spear would have been a decent item, I mean, a first item, instead of S&Y, just because, you know, it saves you from the Lincoln Spear, makes things annoying.
It feels like Lasso is the only thing that you really want to drop. Obviously, the Bane Fiend's Grip, but Bane not only has a 4 staff, but of course has a 4 single target spells. So In the end, I definitely agree the linkage here has value, but I can understand why he just wants to grab the BKB and at least negate all the lesser spells.
True that. And currently, let's see here. Levels. Your bounty hunter is way under level there. Like, level 7. So.
Wow.
Oh no.
They're just baiting this. I see Mike go down. No, the defensive nightmare is just gonna soul rip up to full again. Boom! This might be the last fight here. The crush is gonna come in, but at the same time, it's CDEC.Y just running over their opposition. Gets caught inside the ice shards too. He's going down as well, and that was just an easy bait. They had 3 heroes hiding on the high ground, and they don't even lose one. Another nightmare. Oh, sweet dreams undying. That is gonna be game 1 in the books here. 27-5 in 30 minutes. CDEC.Y just putting on a clinic.
Oh, this Bat Rider pick was actually genius from CDEC Youth. It negated all these ganks, and Bounty Hunter 1 in 9. Templar Assassin was really a non-factor at all. So yeah, I think FTD.B, if not for the Bat Rider, like I mentioned, things probably would have gone a bit better. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, even towards the end, they just didn't have any burst DPS at all. Even if they amplified the track and the desolator, they had no way to kill any of the heroes on CDECU's side, because every single one of them had above 1200 HP and a lot of armor as well to follow. Alright, so I think we're going on to game 2 soon, Blaze.
Absolutely, that is going to be game 1 in the book. CDEC Youth looking really strong, and I gotta think, right now FTD.B, they have to be just racking their brains thinking of how to adjust their strategy. I mean, obviously they'll look at the Bat Rider pick as a huge flaw in the draft, the fact that TA was so manhandled by the Bat Rider, but at the same time, there was so much that was wrong with that. Their support movement, I think they were thrown off guard by the Bane first pick, the Night Stalker ban. Those 2 heroes are essential to every draft I've seen succeed for FTD.B. So they have to be thinking about how they want to open their next draft to find a way to facilitate one of those supports. I believe they'll get first pick in this next one. That would imply that they're going to be on the dire side, and they should try to go for either the Bane or the Night Stalker for their own, because I don't feel like they were comfortable with this Bounty Hunter Spear Breaker. It might work in pubs, it might work in matchups where they're even or favored, but CDEC Youth obviously are no slouches, and they're going to bring their A game every time. So FTD.B really have to kind of bring in their resolve and look to bring us to a game 3. We'll see this match potentially conclude as we go into game 2 here in just a few minutes, guys. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze. Of course, if you enjoy the commentary, feel free to follow me at BlazeCasting, my wonderful co-caster Hades at HadesDota, all the way from Singapore, and we'll be going into game 2 in just a couple minutes, guys, so stay tuned.